Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit of a different one. I posted on Instagram if you have any questions for me, and I have some questions that I didn't answer as well from a little while ago, so I thought I would sit down and answer them for you in a video. I have been vlogging since moving to London, so if you want to see what I've been up to, make sure that you go into the description box and watch those. But I've also got some questions here on my phone that I'm going to answer from Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram already, it's at Lauren Collins Singer, and you can kind of see what I'm up to. I always post on my stories when I'm playing gigs and stuff, so yeah, make sure you follow me on there. So I think I'm going to start with the question that I always get asked the most, which is how you get gigs. I kind of use the same process in New Zealand as I do here, and it's pretty much that you just have to ask and ask and ask until someone says yes. It's annoying because you feel like you're pestering people and that you're nagging them, but the thing is, venues don't know that you're out there and you're so ready to play for them, so you have to let them know, and you're probably going to get a lot of unanswered emails or texts or messages depending on how you contact people. I used to go into venues and ask them that way, but a lot of the time the people who organize the music or the manager isn't actually in. It's not necessarily a bad way to try, but because we're in an age of social media and stuff like that, I try and message them on every platform that they have, or sometimes if they are a regular music venue, they actually have a form on their website that you can fill in and then you can give them links. The first thing is that you want to see yourself as a business, so I would set up an email that you purely have just for music opportunities. This way people can contact you easily even if your social media isn't built up yet. Then obviously you have to figure out what kind of gigs you want to play. A lot of venues are looking for people who can play covers as kind of either a background act or as a main dancey act, but still playing songs that people will recognize. Or you can mainly focus on playing original music shows, but they are less frequent because obviously you're trying to bring your audience to them. Doesn't mean that you can't get lots of them, but cover gigs are generally the ones that are going to give you more work. Then if you're wanting to play gigs, you have to figure out what your set list is going to be, and it does take a lot of practice to build up a good set, especially of covers, because you want to have a good range of songs, upbeat, slow, intense, laid back, so that you're ready for any kind of situation. Obviously I have my YouTube channel, but it's really good to have a video of a performance of yourself so that people can see what you're like in a live setting. Then once you have a way for people to contact you and something that you can show to people, you want to start contacting venues. To do this, I would email them, send them messages on Facebook, Instagram, and just try and get yourself out there really. Even if they don't reply to you straight away, in a few months time they might have a singer who drops out and then they're going to message you. Or you might message them in a few weeks to chase them up and they'll see that you're persistent and they might hire you. I found what's gotten me quite far is being persistent, being professional, and just having good communication skills, because a lot of the time you're going to get a gig over someone else if you respond quicker. Also, when you're thinking about what set you want to play, you also need to think about what gear you're going to bring. So if you don't have a PA speaker or an amp, or a microphone even, you might want to invest in those. You don't have to get anything crazy expensive or flash, but some venues do provide that gear as well. So those are things that you need to ask when you're asking the venue for a gig. That was a pretty long-winded answer, but I think the main points are: be professional, have good communication skills, and be prepared. Another question that I got asked, which kind of relates to this one, is how do you remember your songs without notes? And that's just something that kind of comes with practice and over time. I think I have over 300 songs on my set list now, which obviously I don't remember them all off by heart. I actually have an iPad that I use, and that has the lyrics and the chords on it, and it's kind of just as a prompt. So I have it sitting on my mic stand, and I don't always look at it because I think it's good to engage with the audience and look up, but it's good just in case I forget something. To be honest, I found the more songs I learn, the easier it is to remember them off by heart. Sorry, there's a lot of sirens. But as you add more songs to your set list, I think it's easier to remember them off by heart. And also, I think a good place to start with learning songs is picking songs that you really enjoy singing, or that you know really well. You know the lyrics inside out, you know the melody, so that you can really focus on your guitar playing or keyboard playing, whatever that may be. And then you don't have to be overthinking when you're playing. The next question is, what do you want to achieve while in England? And I didn't really know what the answer to that question was when I first came here. I wanted to move to the UK since high school, really, to pursue music. I didn't really know what that meant, and it took me a few years after finishing high school to actually follow through with it. But I am actually glad that I didn't leave and come here straight after leaving school, because I think that the experience that I got from doing music full-time as a job in New Zealand really gave me a lot of skills and experience to be able to tackle London, because it's a crazy city. I think I've actually exceeded my expectations with what I've achieved so far. As a summary of everything that's been going on, I arrived in England at the end of a family holiday, and my mum and my brother went back home and I decided to stay here. I booked a one-way ticket and I didn't know anyone. I have a few family members here, but they don't actually live in London. So I was staying with them at first and meeting new people. I was coming into London pretty much every single day, and I was attending open mic nights, going to live music events, and just trying to get my bearings in this city. But now it is January and I have a flat in London. I have regular gigs every single week, and I'm managing to support myself on the music, which actually was the ultimate goal. I didn't want to get another job because I was already doing music as a full-time job in New Zealand, and for me it just felt like that would be a step backwards. So now that we're in 2020 and I've got a little bit more of a routine with gigs, I can focus more on original music. I've been writing a little bit recently, and I'm looking forward to sharing some new music with you this year. I've already got some plans and it's very exciting. Kind of leading on from this one as well is, now that you realize the dream coming to London, what's the next one? So I'm actually going back to New Zealand in March to play a wedding and kind of just to catch up with family and friends, but then I am coming back to London again. And I think I would really like to travel around Europe a little bit more this summer, because I've been so focused on building my career in London that I haven't really had a chance to explore around the UK or just make the most of being in such an easily travelable place, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. So many places are really accessible from London, so hopefully I'll be doing some more traveling when the summer comes around, and it would actually be pretty cool to play some music in some different countries as well. I think the dream now is to work on myself as an artist, create some songs that I really love, and then hopefully I'll be able to play some more shows. Then another question is, are you going to be touring anytime? I would love to do a tour around Europe. I think it would take a lot of organization, so I probably won't start thinking about that until I get back from New Zealand. That is something that I haven't done before and it sounds pretty cool. So maybe, I'll definitely let you know if I do. Then one of the questions is, please do a vegan restaurants in London vlog and take me with you. I would love to take you with me. If you haven't already noticed, I love cooking and I love food so much. It's like one of my main passions other than music. And there are so many food places in London. It's actually really hard to not eat out all the time. I try not to eat out too often because even though it might seem cheap in the moment, it can actually rack up and be quite expensive. And also, I just love cooking for myself anyway, and you know the ingredients that are in it. And if you haven't watched my vlogs, you can actually see some of the meals that I've been cooking for myself over there. But if you're interested in seeing me go to some restaurants around London and filming it, then let me know in the comments down below. That'd be super fun. The next question is, where did you record your songs? I'm assuming that you're talking about my EP Passing Time. So I released that when I came to England actually. I wanted to do a release party in New Zealand before I left, but we got down to crunch time and the songs didn't end up being ready in time. But I actually recorded those songs at the Auckland Uni Studios with my brother because he was a music student there. He's actually finished now, which is very cool, but he worked on it with me and it was my first time recording any music properly, so it was an interesting experience. I have been to another university studio here in London, but singing in a studio is a very different experience and I'm hoping to do a lot more of that this year. Obviously, when I film my cover videos for this channel, I film them wherever I am, whether it be at home or in a park, but I use an on-the-go recording setup for that. Just had to change my camera battery. Where were you? Is that right? You seem wonky now. Let's hope that's fine. I have a few questions saying, how long have you been playing guitar? How long have you been performing? How long have you been singing for? Is it always something that you wanted to do? And the answer to that is yes. I've always wanted to be a singer. Literally from the moment that I could think, I wanted to be a singer. My mum tells me that I was singing and dancing before I was walking and talking. I don't know where it came from, because even though my mum used to sing to me when I was little, neither of my parents are inherently musical. They don't play any instruments or anything like that. So I don't know where it came from, but it's always felt like it's something that I really am meant to do. It sounds a little bit cliche and silly, but it's just something that I've always felt. And I can't remember a time where I didn't want to be a singer. So I've been singing since I was a very, very little kid, and I would always sing when we were walking around, and I would go up to strangers and I'd want to sing them songs. I was a very outward kid. And all throughout school, I was in music groups, I was in choir, I was in Kapa Haka, which is the Māori singing groups. I did musicals, I would audition for everything I could, and I obviously always took music as a subject, so I'd perform in class as well. I took my first singing lessons, I think, when I was maybe 11 or something like that, and then I did singing lessons consistently from when I was 13 to 19, I think. Then they kind of dwindled off because I was traveling, and I am actually a bit sad that I didn't pick them up again. I really think I'd benefit a lot from singing lessons now, because my voice has changed so much, and yeah, maybe that's something I'll look into soon. I started learning guitar when I was year 5, so I would have been maybe 9, but I was not very good at practicing and I was quite inconsistent, so I would kind of practice for a while and then give it up a little bit, not play for a while. So I would say I didn't really start putting that much effort into it until high school, and to be honest, I feel like I've learned the most from gigging, because you're playing for long hours a lot of the time, which really builds up the calluses in your fingers, and also it's just lots and lots of hours of practice, and that's how you get good. I really feel that my songwriting and also my gig playing would be a lot better if I pick up some lessons, because I feel like you can learn on your own, but sometimes I like a little bit of guidance from a tutor. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is blue. I think my favorite color has been blue since I was like 8 years old or something, although I do really love green. I've found that over the last few years I keep buying green things, especially clothes, like that khaki dark green kind of color. I also have a question, which is, what first inspired you to sing or play guitar? Like I said, neither of my parents are musical, so I don't really know what inspired me to sing. But when I was a kid, the people that I looked up to the most with singing were like S Club, Beyonce, Pink, those like female pop idols. So my style now is quite poppy, but I've kind of brought it back to be a bit more acoustic, because obviously I'm playing with the guitar. I actually don't know why I decided to play guitar versus any other instrument, but I think it was because I wanted something that would go well with singing. For example, I think trumpet is a really cool instrument, but you obviously can't sing and play trumpet at the same time. That's not to say that I haven't seen singers who don't play trumpet, because I have, but I am glad that I picked up doing guitar, and now I would really like to learn how to play piano. I was practicing keyboard when I was living in New Zealand, but now I don't have anywhere to practice because I couldn't bring it here because it's way too heavy. So yeah, that's something that I would definitely want to learn, because I think it would maybe change up my style and help me write some different songs. And then the last question that I have here is expectation versus reality regarding moving to London. I kind of came here with not much of an expectation. Like I said, I actually just booked a one-way ticket to leave New Zealand. I didn't know if I would be moving here or if I'd be staying here for a few weeks or a few months. I kind of just gave myself a little bit of room to experiment and just to try some new things. So when I left New Zealand, in my head, I didn't think you're moving country now. So I actually was quite unprepared. I left a lot of things at home that I could probably do with now, mainly like clothes or things like that. I really didn't bring much with me. I had my big backpack, but it was mostly filled with summery clothes because I was traveling around in summertime. So I've had to buy a lot of wintry clothes and things like that because I didn't realize how cold it actually gets. I know that sounds dumb because obviously people know that England is cold, but it's actually the air temperature is really cold. In New Zealand, I'm not used to always wrapping up layers and layers and layers, whereas here, every time I leave the house now that it's winter time, I really need to make sure that I wrap up, especially because I don't want to be getting sick all the time, which I kind of have been, so bit of a fail. But yeah, it's pretty cold here. And I honestly didn't really know what to expect. I knew that London was a big city. I had been here before, but it's very different coming to a place where you've traveled as a tourist before and then you're no longer a tourist because you're actually trying to live there. Because obviously when you're traveling for a holiday, you're going out to nice places to eat, you're gonna go and do activities, you've got a lot of time to wander around and explore. And I did have that at first, but then when it came down to finding a flat here and finding regular work, you start to realize that you can't live like that. But overall, I think that the reality of it has been really great. It was a complete roller coaster of emotions when I got here. There were some days where I just felt over the moon. I was so excited that I had moved country all on my own. Then there were some days where I felt really lonely or just like a failure, and that is to be expected, I guess. But overall now I'm feeling a lot more stable. Like I mentioned before, I have a bit more of a routine, and I really feel like I have achieved more than anyone was expecting me to. I've met some amazing people here, made some awesome friends. I'm really grateful to the people that I've met here who have helped me. They've really given me the confidence to not only go for my career goals, but also just to be myself and discover who I am over here. Obviously, a lot of the people that I've met are musicians, but I'm continuing to meet new people all the time. I'm just so out of my comfort zone, but in such a great way, and I'm really glad that I pushed myself to actually do this. Another one of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, why would you leave New Zealand? And I agree, New Zealand is an amazing place, and for people that haven't been there, they either see it as a place that's super foreign and maybe not jungle-like, but maybe Lord of the Rings-like, where it's just all fields and mountains, which, yeah, it's got those, but it's not all that. Or they see it as like a paradise where you can just go to the beach and just chill out. And yes, both of those things are true. I left New Zealand because I really wanted to push myself, and I think a city like London really offers a lot of opportunity, not only to play lots, but also to get recognized and to build an audience. And that's not to say that you can't be a successful musician in New Zealand, because I really think that you can, and I know friends that have got amazing careers there. But I really wanted to switch things up, and I think it's been really valuable to meet the musicians that I have here, because they've really inspired me to actually just go and create the things that I want to create, rather than being afraid that it won't be good enough or that someone else has already done it, so why would I do it? Because that's not what art is about. I really love New Zealand. I love living there, and I probably will live there again in the future. If you haven't been there, it's just the best place, and I really recommend going. But I know that in the future I'm gonna look back on this time living overseas and be happy that I pushed myself. So that's all the questions that I got asked on my Instagram. If you liked this video, please let me know down below, or give this video a thumbs up. And also let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I just sit down and chat with you. I don't mind answering some more questions, but obviously you can keep up with what I'm doing with my vlogs. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any videos. Now that I've got a bit of a routine, I'm really looking forward to making some new awesome videos for you guys. If you have any other videos you want to see from me, leave your suggestions down below as well. I hope this was helpful, or you learned a little bit more about me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!